This is much bigger than the death of our son. We realize we cannot bring our son back, sadly, but our country is in grave danger.
Since their son Shane passed away this past summer, Mary and Rick Todd have been on a mission to find answers. Their ordeal, recently featured in the FT's Weekend magazine, started when they flew to Singapore after being told their eldest son had died, but it's evolved into something much larger.
We just want the United States to wake up. They can now put a face. They can put a face to the name, you know.
We went in with full faith, but when they gave me a full description, gave both of us a full description of categorically how my son hung himself, and upon arriving in his bathroom, we found out not one thing lined up with what they said. Then later in December, they recanted and said, oh, it was just our initial response. Those are the kind of things that make us lose faith. They have lied to us several times on several accounts, and for this reason, we really need our government to get involved.
This continued distrust has now brought them to Washington to press lawmakers and the Embassy of Singapore to provide a more thorough investigation into the death of their son. And are the FBI willing to help?
I think the FBI is willing to help, but they can't have their hands tied. In order to make a true and honest investigation, I think they've made that clear. Actually, they've got to have all access to all data. Otherwise, it's I mean, there's no point in it.
But they made that clear to you personally.
Well, we met with this, the American ambassador to Singapore in December, and he said that the FBI offered to help on multiple occasions, and he said in all of his time, 3 years as ambassador, he has not seen a push so much from the FBI to the police, and they were denied every time. So I say yes, the FBI is more than willing to help. They want to help. They keep asking about it, but they cannot until they're invited.
While it was the initial discrepancies that caused the Todds to question the Singapore police, their misgivings surrounding the investigation took a dramatic turn after an examination of a hard drive found in their son's apartment. The Todds claim the drive, coupled with warnings from Shane prior to his death, indicate that their son had been working on a sensitive project between his employer, Singapore-based IME, and the Chinese telecom giant Huawei. Both IME and Huawei denied they were collaborating.
When we realized how serious the information was from Shane's external hard drive, we wrote the Singapore police and told them we were willing to fly to Singapore with the hard drive, provided they included the FBI in the investigation. We feel that right now they're asking the FBI for the information a little too late, and without full cooperation, without full transparency, we're unwilling to allow that hard drive to get into the hands of the police.
Right, but you have the FBI examining it now.
We're not going to be commenting on that.
After the publication of the FT story, the Todds' quest has kicked into high gear, flooding them with media attention and opening doors in Washington to allow them to plead their case. And while this trip to DC ended with a minor triumph as they were invited for a short meeting with the Singaporean ambassador, they are still not happy about the investigation. The Todd story is a very personal one, but in Washington it inevitably has a sensitive political dimension. It involves one of America's most important Asian allies, Singapore, and also touches upon its greatest regional rival, China. For the moment, the politics have worked in the Todds' favour, and it's opened doors for them on Capitol Hill. But how it plays out from here is impossible to tell.
We're not going away, and actually all our legislators have said that they're not going away, and they're going to get to the bottom of it.
Richard McGregor, Financial Times, Washington.